Bruce Kramer is one of my top 3 builders in Todos Santos, and I couldn't wait to have him today as a first guest for my Friday chat. So welcome, Bruce. Thank you very much for allowing me to do this new project. And
well, thanks for having me.
So let me start by asking you what a lot of people probably wondering, how long you've been building in Todos Santos?
Ooh, I first came here in 1986, and I came and stayed in 1987 and started finishing a friend of mine's house, and basically never went back.
Like everybody, no?
Yeah, like kind of like everything that's still happening to this day. People come here and they don't want to leave.
So
it's a great place to live.
Right. So give me a gross approximately number of how many homes you've been building in our community.
Ooh, I don't even know. I mean, there's got to be 60 of them, maybe. Say 2 a year for 33 years. We got to be in the 60s, 70s.
Wow, that's a lot of homes.
Yep, it's been good.
Great. So for those who doesn't know, Bruce Kramer is very well known by his style of building on brick. So I understand that the majority, no, you can have exceptions. Sometimes you build in other kind of materials, but the majority of your projects are on bricks. Why you choose to work with brick versus concrete block?
Well, when I first started down here years ago, the block was really bad. There weren't blocks like they have now that come out of a machine. They were all made in people's backyards. They looked like little loaves of pan bimbo, really. And trying to find a better building material as far as looks wise, and what turned out in the end was that brick was so much better insulation, so much more comfortable of a building to live in, because I always have done it, didn't always have done it. Like the old buildings downtown, they're solid brick walls, so they insulate a lot better. The sun and heat doesn't get in, and when it's cold, it's nice and warm and toasty inside. When it's hot, it's cool inside. And just kind of looking at all the old homes that didn't have, any air conditioning or anything like that, they had tall ceilings and they had thick walls, and that's what kept them cool. And if you're going to live here year round, that's, it's an issue. Block houses are hotter. They're hotter in the summer and they're colder in the winter. And just looking at alternatives, and people loved it. They just loved the brick. It looked like downtown, and that's just what people keep asking me for, so we keep doing it.
I see. And I think as a lot of people who come to Todos Santos, they want to have that feeling of Mexico, right? And Mexico associated with brick, old.
Yeah, more rustico, we could do it, but we're not the guys to go build you what's the word I'm looking for? I've lost it. A block house that's more contemporary. Right. They're all over around here now. People love it, but there's people that just don't want that. They want, a Mexican looking house with, the hand painted tiles and the saltillo floors, like something that looks like if you were to go over to Guadalajara or the mainland that you would see. And there's nothing wrong with contemporary at all. That's just personal choice. And people see the stuff we've built, they take pictures of it and they come and hunt me down, and that's what we do. That's what we're best at.
Right. And you do it very well. I see a lot of homes around our area that are so charming and beautiful. And now when I take my clients out around community, to see homes, they always say, "Oh, how charming." And they say, "Oh, that's Bruce Kramer. That's Bruce Kramer."
Yeah, you definitely have a signature, it sticks out.
That's great. So let me
Not
ask
a
you
lot of
this.
them.
Go ahead.
There's so many houses that are just built out of block and plastered, or painted, and and when you see a brick one sitting there, it sticks out, and people are like, "Oh, look at that," because you just don't see a lot of them.
You're right. Yeah. And let me ask you then, because I make a little bit of a questionnaire around friends and clients to find out what are the questions that they want to ask you, or what can be a good questions for you. And mostly of all these questions that I'm asking are because we're repeating, so are the most common questions between my friends and clients. So
Sure.
the cost, tell me a little bit about the cost between building in brick versus building in block concrete.
Okay. Depending, every house is different. But depending, I'd say between 10 and 20% more overall cost. Like if you were let's just say you were going to build a house for $100 a square foot out of block, you could probably build it out of brick for 120.
Okay.
Depending, but more or less.
Perfect. That's not that much to have that beautiful, charming, if it's what you want, and very good quality.
Well, the thing is, it's the insulation. What sells
exactly.
A lot of people on it is the first thing I ask: are you going to live here year round?
Right.
Yeah, we're going to live here year round.
Right.
And then you might want to think about going with a double wall brick to be more comfortable in the summer. It's not, you can heat your house up. That's easy. Light the fireplace, whatever. But cooling it down is tough.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like to live in air conditioning. And if it's done correctly and you shade the hot side of the house and you build out a brick, you're going to be able to get through the hot months much easier.
Yeah, I remember somebody explained this to my husband and I one time. He was trying to put air conditioning in one of the rooms, and he says, touch the wall. It's a concrete block. So the block has a space in the middle. This is where the heat kept. So when you try to air condition a room, and the air is getting cooler, but it's fighting against the radiation of the heat of the wall, because if you touch it, it's still warm. And we start to think, oh, that makes so much sense, and it's probably why.
Well, the block is cement, so it's going to absorb the heat and it's going to hold on to it. Now the brick is dirt, and dirt's what adobe's made out of, and that's by
I see.
Superior building material. So if you put your hand on a brick wall in the afternoon, it's not even close to as hot as a block wall. It just won't absorb the heat. So that's one of them.
Good, thank you. Mm-hmm. Now moving on, after you get the green light to go back to work, because everything, as we know, is on hold right now for every business. If someone is getting ready to build now, in your experience, how long does it take to get plans approved and permits?
Oh, nowadays I'd say if you were really, really lucky, it'd be under 60 days and probably no more than 90.
Okay. And you process that as part of your
work? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the beginning of the process, is getting the plans finalized and then getting them engineered and the building permit process done. The engineer is who pulls the building permit. So you start with him, take your plans to him, and he starts doing the engineering. He redraws it in the format that the building department will accept, and then submits it. And that takes a little time to get it all redrawn to their specifications, and then a 6 weeks processing.
I see. Now, this is a question that I always, and I think we talked about it in one time not long ago. And it's a question that a lot of people, it's always asking me, do I need a permanent residency to build, or I can build with my tourist permit?
It's much better if you have the residency card. I mean, there's a whole handful of reasons. First of all is you won't be able to get your own bank account without a residency card. So you need to send your, first and foremost, the money here.
Oh.
So no personal bank account without it. You can get a building permit as a tourist. That's still doable, but that could change. If you're doing it yourself, or most contractors will want you to insure the employees in the homeowner's name, the homeowner himself insure the employees because they need insurance. You can't get insurance as a tourist.
Okay.
You need to be a resident. There are a few other little things. The residency card, I mean, if you're coming and going, you don't wait in the line with all the tourists. You go on the other line at the airport, walk right through as a resident. I just heard today, and I don't know if it's true, but you can't drive the Baja if you're a tourist right now. You can't, the only way you can get through is by showing your residency card, whether it be permanent or temporary. So if you were going to drive down to your home as a tourist, they're not going to let you in. They're going to send you back. That's what I heard today.
Oh, wow.
So every day I hear more and more reasons that you need that residency card. And a lot of people, they just don't want to do it. And it's not that hard to do. And once you do it, everything just becomes so much more simplified.
But
life gets easier.
Right. But for you as a builder, the main reason is because once they have the permanent residency, is because they can open a bank account so they can fund the construction.
Yes.
This way, easy way.
It doesn't need to be permanent. It can be temporary resident as long as you're not a tourist. They're not going to give you a bank account on a tourist visa anymore.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't understand is they say, well, why can't I send the money to you? And I'm like, well, I'm a business. You send me money, it's going to get taxed. And this is your money, and if you send it to yourself, it's not going to get taxed. You're going to disperse it, around to your different contractors and subcontractors. And it's just an easier means, cheaper means to send yourself your own money and take your money and disperse it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, one other question that I want to address with you is, do you think the material cost, it's been affected by this pandemic? It would be a change on prices?
Well, none of the prices have changed in pesos that I know of yet. That I haven't been working in a month, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure 90% of the stuff still costs the same. If a bag of cement was 300 pesos, it still is. So since now you're getting close to 24 for the dollar instead of 18, yeah, that's about 35%, 33%, say, difference. You're getting about 33% more to your dollar.
Okay. So one question related to it, I know it's not, this is from me. If you give somebody an estimate on building a home, right? How you guarantee that price on the construction? I mean, what I'm saying is how long they have to, or how fast they have to decide to approve that estimate before the cost goes up. Because I know the cement and the concrete and the brick and the materials and the labor varies from month to month sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do things a little bit different than most people. We work strictly time and material. So one of my crews is X amount per week, and that doesn't change. And every week we pay for the materials. So it's a trickle. It's not like I'm going to build your house for $100,000. I need $50,000 now. It's week to week, so it's not, it changes as you're going through the process. but the estimate is still usually within 10%. You know, if I say it's going to be $100,000, it could be 90, it could be 110. But it's a time and material billing process. It's different than your average local contractor.
Okay.
They're going to come back with a peso price.
I see.
Now, if the exchange rate changes, then the peso price could change.
Right.
You know, it's hard to get a rock solid number.
I hear you. Okay. Well, tell me, just to finish, I know you're a busy guy, and wondering.
Right now.
Well, yeah, right now we have to test how we start to do this. I want to know if there's anything there that you want the new owners of a lot thinking of building, they had to keep in mind. Something that you said, I wish my new clients know or understand this or that.
If they were my new clients?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or people, or any people in general, they want to come and build. What do you wish they know or to expect or to have as something that they have to know?
Okay, that's two questions. So the first one is, if they were my clients and we were going to build them a house and I gave them an estimate within 10%, is to just the biggest factor for us is just trust us. We're going through this process together. The whole goal of charging by the week and time and material is being able to do the best job we can, the highest quality of finish we can, without per se cheating or skimping and cutting corners on materials, because we get paid every week and you pay for the materials every week separately, the homeowner. So it's a different kind of process. The whole thing is generated around trying to get the best piece of construction that we can. So that's all that matters anymore to me, is to build the best thing that I can for the client. Now, if you were going to build a new house and you didn't hire me, you hire someone, right? I would say just be careful and make sure that who you hire doesn't have a half a dozen other jobs going on, that he can give you his full attention. Right. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there, they'll just take it, and then, all of a sudden you're going along and building your house and the crew disappears or something. They had to be over here. I had to move them over here for a few days. Just be careful that the person you hire is not too busy.
Yeah, you point something very, very important. That's true. I heard a lot of stories about, he asked me for so much material, but my house is not going any progress on the house, but I don't see the same amount of blocks or same amount of cement, because they take it to another place and then from another place bring it over here.
No, not so much that. What I mean is the employees disappearing.
Oh, okay.
The employees, all of a sudden you're moving along and you're building your house. Then the employee, hey, where's the crew? Oh, well, we had to go over here because we so-and-so's coming. We had to go finish up. They disappear people for your laborers. That's the thing with our time and material process, is once we go to your job site, we don't go anywhere. We don't leave, and the crew's there every day until you can't stand us anymore, or until we're done. And other guys shuffle people around. You might have 2 guys one day, you might have 10 another day, you might have 4 today, you might have nobody for a week.
Right.
Just make sure that they're focused.